There we go. I was wondering if we were going to get another disconnect there. So I'm just keeping travelling now for the moment. I'm not going to spend too much time exploring these systems because I've got a specific destination to get to, which is Thor's Eye, as mentioned previously in the channel. It was kind enough to let me know that's a great destination to visit. Oh yeah, the debug camera. And you know the Orca's got some nice visual to it. The black canopy from the outside really does have some awesome reflections on it, doesn't it? I actually put the debug camera on here earlier as well, and then forgot to start looking at it. I got a little bit distracted, a little bit in the dark zones at the moment, but yeah, there is my beauty. There's the asp with my little decals on it. You can see my Kickstarter decal on the edges there, and my Explorer rank on the front. Let's keep going. Yeah, I'm sure I'm missing a whole load of Earth-like stone. I was just thinking that. How many have I passed? I spent ages flying along, keep looking for them, but I'm really eager to get to Thor's Eye now, and a lot of you have been watching long enough that it would be nice for you to see me arrive at the destination, and of course it gets me a good bunch closer to the Lagoon Nebula. So once I'm at Thor's Eye, I'll probably spend a whole bunch of time there, but the Lagoon Nebula's not that much further after that. And things are actually starting to look a little bit more varied now as well. When you look at the galactic core, it's getting bigger and bigger, getting closer and closer. 26 objects discovered. Are any Earth-likes? Are any gas giants that are right on top of the suns? I don't know, because I'm off to Thor's Eye. But I've got to have a look. I just got to have a look. I can't not look. Ah, look. There's a water weld. There's two water welds. Two water welds. Oh, look at this. Oh, why did you have to mention it? How far away are we here? Right, I'll let you guys choose then. Do I keep going to Thor's Eye, or do I look at these water welds here? Actually, it may be a nice planet, but I think it's a water world. It's just under 1,000 light seconds away. Let me know. Do I go to the water world, or do I keep on going to towards Thor's Eye? The choice is yours. Although probably by the time you let me know, I'll actually be at the water world. I'm going to keep flying in that direction. At any rate. Yeah, Kevin Costner would probably like this place. A whole bunch of water worlds. Okay, the water world it is then. That's the third planet out. So that's the first ring, that's the second ring, that's the third orbit line. Where on the third orbit line is that planet? Doing a full turn here. I'm going to get myself turned about. There we go. 600 light seconds. That's actually not going to take very long, is it? That's alright, Babuchet. I'm not really into exploration for the money. I make money as I go anyway, but I'm not going to make too much of a point of stopping off just for money. I do like stopping off at these places to check out what they look like though, and water worlds have some of the more appealing visuals out of all the planets out there, as do the Earth-like. So if we can see them, all the better. Makes for a good change rather than keep seeing sun after sun, doesn't it? Yep. Firestar, do the same, watch the streams while I'm playing Elite. But the question is, do I play Elite whilst streaming Elite, whilst simultaneously watching another stream? Not something I've tried. I don't know if I will, but maybe. How do I like the 21:9 aspect ratio monitor. Well, to be perfectly honest, it's one of the best things I've ever bought for my computer, and that's the honest truth. I do have an Oculus Rift, and the Oculus Rift is obviously right up at the top, but the 21:9 aspect ratio monitor really is outstanding. It looks great on Elite, as you can see. But a lot of the games out there, something like Skyrim for example, although Skyrim don't support it perfectly well, but it nonetheless does look good on. There's a whole lot of other games out there that really are awesome on it. There's just no going back to a standard 1080p monitor, 16:9 monitor once you've tried 21:9. Unfortunately, not all games support it, particularly those released by Ubisoft. Ubisoft are absolutely terrible when it comes to these monitors, and you end up playing in a little box in the middle of the screen sometimes. The older EA games also don't support the monitor very well, but if you can put up with that, you're in for a real treat, because honestly, they're just great. I've just missed a few comments there. I'm going to have to back up there. The price of so yeah, the Outer World was definitely worth stopping by. I love stopping by these because just look at the texture there on the planets there. You might think it looks a little bit plain, but really I find that sort of thing great, especially if you can get a sunrise on them. Outfitting on the Asp, I can show you that right now, Firestar. Look, where are we? Status, system status, finance status. I've got 3.5 million. There you go. Current assets 22.3 million. I've got no other ships at all in the game. I've got nothing docked anywhere. I've got no cargo. That is purely the value of my Asp and its modules. And I've got a 31.7 light year jump range on it. So that's how much this cost me. Yeah, mechanical fluff. I'd recommend the 1440 21:9 monitor as well. This one I'm using is actually a 1080p version, and it's a 29-inch monitor, so it's good enough for my purposes, but I certainly would have liked a 1440p if I could have got it. Have you ever seen the new 5K monitors that I don't think have been released yet, but they're in early development? 5K because they use the, obviously they're trying to match the 4K resolution, but they're ultra wide, so they've got some serious resolution on them. Right, let's go to the fourth planet out then. Haven't actually seen one myself. I've seen a few pictures of a 5K monitor. I'd love to actually get one, but I'm caught in the gravity well again now, so it's going to be a little bit of time before I get up to speed. But when I do, I'm going to make my way toward the fourth planet there, which I'm pretty sure is another water world. And I've actually made the first discovery of this water world. That's if I get it back before anyone else, which I'm not really in any hurry to do, but someone else. Does that say? I thought that said Fisty the Clown. Actually, it does say Fisty the Clown. Great name. He's discovered the other water world first, but I'm going to go out there and do a detailed surface scan of it as well. Looks like it's got a bit of ice on it, or some clouds. 1, 2, slow down, that's the third planet. That's line number 3. So line number 4. I think they haven't gone up high enough to do this. I'm going to have to travel up a little bit higher first. Again, I could use my nav panel here to try and find the next planet, but any of those could be the fourth planet, any of those 3 I'd imagine, because it depends where they are in their orbit around the sun. They could either be close, relatively speaking, to me, or they could be far away around the opposite side of the sun. So the only way to find them without too much back and forwarding is to fly upwards and then back downwards again. And yeah, look, that's the fourth line, and the third sun being right there, just where I just come from, is actually one of the furthest planets away from me. You'll probably find the sixth sun is closer. As I say, it depends where the planet is in relation to you in regards to its orbit around the sun. So it's just best to fly up and work your way back down by looking at the orbit lines. Let's speed up a little bit. I won't go and check out all of the water worlds here though, even though there's a whole ton of them down here. Well, there's one there. I reckon this one here though is a potential candidate for terraforming, but it is a significant distance away from where I am, thousands and thousands of light seconds, so I won't be going there because it'll take probably 20 odd minutes to fly there, and I'm not really interested in doing that, and I don't suppose you want to watch me do that either. So I'll go and have a look at this water world, and then I'm going to carry on making my way to Thor's Eye, where there is apparently a black hole and some huge giant blue suns to look at. Really keen and excited to be looking at that. Here we go, and yeah, look, it's another water world. Let's take a fly by the water world as well and see if we can do that without getting caught in the gravity well, whilst at the same time flying slow enough that we can get a bit of a view of it. So no land masses on this water world, I don't think. We'll have to get a little bit closer, but I don't want to get too close because you get stuck in the gravity well, it takes you an age to get back out again. Looks like there might be some land masses there, you know. Or some very torrid, dark atmosphere. Maybe an unpleasant place to visit. We're about to know when we get down to those planets at some point. Just imagine the sort of weather effects that would be going on in those places. So then, let's get going. Thor's Eye, here we come. Which is that cluster of stars, tightly knit cluster of stars you can see there. Yep, and dude, that is exactly why I'm out here exploring, because when I've played most other games, you play something like Skyrim or something like that, I always look at the mountain in the distance or the tree in the distance and I think, I wonder what it's like standing there. And so of course naturally I walk there and see what it's like. When I get there, when you're there, you see another hill in the distance or a river or a valley and you think, I wonder what it's like standing there. And so of course I go there and stand there. Now you relate that to Elite, you look at a star here and look, that tightly knit cluster of stars, I wonder what it's like when I stand there. And so of course I'm heading there, and when I get there there's just going to be something else, and with Elite you can go on doing that forever. There's just so much to see. Apparently there's no wormholes in Elite. The Frontier have said they don't want any shortcuts across the galaxy. Whether that's the way it will stay forever, I don't know. But there are things in Elite that are in the code but aren't actually in yet. And you can see that when you go back. I don't know if they've patched it out, but when they first put in the data cell in, oh, excuse me, when they first put in the data cell in a few patches back at Universal Cartographics, you could actually sell some of the data and find out that you were selling data that included comets that you'd actually scanned inside a system. Now, there's no physical comet in the game, you couldn't actually see them, but the data points existed for those comets. So there are certainly things in the game that are there that aren't actually visible for us to go and visit yet. So no wormholes. Frontier said no wormholes, but who knows what the future brings. Yeah, I totally agree with the point on your 4 to 5K monitors, and that was one of the reasons I went for a 21:9 monitor instead of a 4K monitor, because although I've got a GTX 780, I weren't convinced that it would run all the games I wanted to play at 4K, so I went for the ultra wide screen instead, and I'm glad I did. And of course prices are always going to drop, so oh, we got a dark star there. Yeah, go for it. Go explore in a Type 6. You get huge jump range in a Type 6, and it basically does everything an Astra can do. You've got a lot of module slots to keep fitting your ship with, and you get a good jump range. Well, I was in open play, but I've had a few disconnects, and I've been switching between open play and solo play, so I don't know what I'm on at the moment. I'm actually on solo play, but it won't be a problem to switch back to open in a minute. We can give it a try, Stalker. No reason why not. Depends how long it is until I get there. For those of you that might wonder why I'm in solo, really when you're out this far out, it doesn't tend to make a huge lot of difference whether you're in open play or solo play, because generally you're going to be on your own. Although most of the time I do like to try and play in open play, because you never know if you're going to come across anyone. It's certainly nice if you do come across anyone, unless they attack you, but I guess that's fairly unlikely if they're this far out. Now that is the second star I've been unable to fuel scoop from, and you can see after the next jump I'm down to half a tank of fuel. When this tends to happen, I will probably plot a new route, still to the same destination, but I'll probably use economical jumps rather than fast jumps, because that will reduce down my jump distance and conserve my fuel long enough to hopefully find a star that I can fuel from. Thargoids can't be that too far away, can they, surely by now? I've heard the next patch is called Power Play, and Frontier have said that is going to be the biggest content patch so far, so hopefully Thargoids can't be too far away. Yeah, I tried the same thing. Mechanical, I tried upscaling as well to 4K and wasn't getting very enjoyable frame rates by doing so. I'm sure it looks great, but the amount of money the hardware costs to run that sort of resolution at the moment. Right, just about to overheat there, but I've got a fuel tank of petrol. There you go, showing where I'm from. A fuel tank of fuel before I did overheat. Yeah, there's lock systems all over the place. I've been all over to all sorts of nebulas. Most of the nebulas have at least one locked system, so hopefully nebulas at some point in the future are going to be significant areas to play in. And I've visited some of the nebulas, as you may have seen if you've looked at my YouTube videos, and I can spend days at a time in them. And I just can't wait for the time when we can actually do things inside those nebulas and spend a significant amount of time there. Once some of them have stations and outposts and maybe planets we can land on, nebulas are going to be awesome places to stay. They really do feel like totally different worlds, totally different areas of the game. Now look at that star cluster, getting ever larger, isn't it? weren't a moment ago when it was a little speck on the distance. Can't be too many jumps away now, can it? Hey, look at that, Thor's eye, just 2 jumps. We're nearly there. And then we will see the black hole and the huge stars, and look how wispy the galactic core is starting to get. Some lovely wisps there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the systems that have permits to them will indeed have something to do with the Thargoids at some point. And even those that don't have permits, there are sections of space that you can't actually reach, even with the largest jump engine that's currently in game. Some of them are over 40 light years plus, and there's simply no way to get to them. So who knows what that will bring in as well. In fact, I seem to remember someone on the Frontier forums actually mentioned there's a whole section of space that's cordoned off like that, with a jump area that you can't cross. Well, combat. I want to get into combat, but I plan on this trip being a long time. My last trip was between 4 and 5 weeks, and I think this one is going to be longer, assuming my ship is up to the task. My last ship, well, it was the Aspire. This is the same ship, but my last journey it come back fairly worse for wear. Actually had quite a badly cracked canopy and quite a lot of heat damage, and I was getting low on the supply of heat sinks, so I had to come back a little bit earlier than I wanted. But that was a 4 to 5 week journey, and I want this one to be a longer trip. So combat, not until I get back, and that may be a long way. That said, I do have a second copy of Elite. I do have another ship. I think I might have a Cobra on that account now. I can't quite remember, but if I want to do any combat, I guess I'll have to earn the credits on that account and head back out there. So this is it, Thor's Eye, the ultimate destination. Well, the ultimate destination was the Lagoon Nebula, which is right there behind Thor's Eye, but someone told me Thor's Eye, and it's far too tempting an opportunity to miss, so we're going to see some interesting visuals when we get into this system, that's for sure. I actually haven't been to the black holes since the changes, and there we go, straight away, the blue light of this awesome looking sun here. I'm going to be careful here refueling, because I don't want to actually get too close and trash my ship, because there's no orbit line around there. As you can see, there's no drop off line. Right, I'm full. Let's get away from this sun and do a detailed surface scan of it. I'm going to do also a system scan so I know what's out here. Love that blue light. That is something that looks absolutely fantastic when you're on the Oculus Rift. And if you want to head out to NGC 7822 Nebula, there are absolutely dozens of these huge stars out there. In fact, there's nothing but these huge blue stars out there. Blue stars and black holes. And black holes orbiting blue stars, and black holes orbiting black holes, and blue stars orbiting blue holes, and all manner of combinations. So let's see, there's a black hole here. Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly good at combat anyway, but I'm also out of practice on combat, so it's possible I could do with some help, but it's going to be a little while. Oh, look at this, we've got a gas giant here. How far is it? It's 2.7 astronomical units away from this large sun, and the black hole is 13 astronomical units, so that is a significant distance away from the sun. I'll probably go there anyway as soon as I come all this way, but this is, it's about just under 1,500 light seconds away, so I think we'd go to that gas giant and have a look at that first. and then hopefully head toward the black hole. Hopefully they're in the same direction as each other. I'm not actually heading away from the black hole now. Yeah, just an infinite variety of possibilities, that's for sure. I'm not sure if I saw the Twitch video jump a little bit there, the stream. I've got it running on the second monitor and I've got a little bit of judder, but it seems okay now. But do let me know if you're getting any judder or any other streaming issues or any sound issues. So we're coming up here to a gas giant, which is quite close in relative terms to the huge blue star that's behind me. And once I've done this, I'm going to go check out the black hole. That hopefully won't take too long to get towards. Yeah, can you imagine multi-crewed ships? That would just be absolutely brilliant. And even better, multi-crewed ships where everyone's using an Oculus Rift. That would be something to see, wouldn't it? Now you could actually, I'm sure you could set up a reality TV show if you could have that. If you could have multiple people on a single ship, you could set up a stream watching everyone, and you could get some pretty interesting things going on there, I'm sure. Now this is a nice looking ring system. Thor's Eye A1, and well, it should be a interesting ring system with a name like that. I'm going to drop off into this ring system. It's the first time I've done it. I don't know how people actually feel about watching a whole bunch of asteroids. Sometimes people run a mile the instant you start showing them ring systems, but keep in mind this is a ring system with a blue star behind it, so it's going to have some interesting blue light cast upon it. 3 million credits, brilliant, congratulations on that. And you brought an ASP. Yeah, as good as the Type 6 is, and I recommend the Type 6 for exploration. There's no reason you can't use it. It does indeed handle like a cow compared to the ASP. ASP is an awesome handling ship, and it's not that unlike flying a Cobra in many ways. Yeah, asteroid belts are one of the best things in the game. Oof, I thought I'd gone too fast and damaged my ship a little bit there. Absolutely love asteroid belts, especially if they're ice ones. Hello there, Hieronymus. Thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you. Yeah, that's exactly it, dude. Big Brother live from the Anaconda at Thor's Eye. What are our ship guests getting up to today? The reality TV of the future. Yeah, life thousands of light years from home. Who's going to be the first one to be shoved out of the airlock? Or who's going to be the first one to be so desperate they're going to need to go jump out of the airlock? That planet's overcompensating. Yeah, it is a bit with these huge giant rings. I've actually seen ring systems that are so large you can get lost in them. So where is that blue star? There it is. This is where you start to get some quite nice looking visuals. I'm actually going to fly into the belt a bit here. I've been into a ring system quite a long time back where, look how dense, how many asteroids there are in front of me there. When I was looking down, there was the same amount of asteroids going down, and similarly there was the same amount of asteroids going up, and I actually got lost in there because you couldn't find which way was out after a while. Thank you, Darth. I love exploring anyway, so doing some commentary for it is always a pleasure and never a problem. And we are on the dark side of the asteroids here because we're facing away from the sun. The only thing that could have made this a little bit better is if this was an ice asteroid field rather than rather than a rocky one. But look at the shades and the colours here. Browns and whites and blues and greys. And bright yellows and oranges if I don't pay attention to where I'm going and explode. But yeah, I can spend ages in an asteroid field. And you know, we're now 1,000 light seconds away, or 1,500 light seconds away from that sun. So that's 3 times the distance the Earth is away from our sun. And look at how large that sun still looks. That gives you an idea of how immense that sun actually is. By no means the biggest in the game, but one of the largest I've come across so far on this particular leg of the journey. Certainly the biggest I've seen on the stream so far. Just love the dust effects there. The sort of things you just itch to look at in virtual reality, without doubt. Right then, shall we head off towards that black hole? Let's see how far away it is. It's going to be a significant distance, I think. 10,000 light seconds. So it's going to take a little while to get there. If you find the trip tiring, do let me know, because I can always head on toward the Lagoon Nebula. We're not that far from it now. Let's see if I can get out of mass lock. That's the first time I've used boost actually for a long time. Not much call for using boost. No, Darth. Sorry if I've confused the issue there. I'm playing this on a monitor, but I have got an Oculus Rift sitting down beside me, and I love exploring ring systems on the Oculus Rift. Looks awesome. Oh yeah, I just can't wait to see stations and outposts being placed this far out. I really hope Frontier move away from the idea of just building space stations right next to civilized space and start populating the systems out this far out. Don't see any reason at all why a system like this, with an unusual ring system or unusual star or an unusual black hole, wouldn't have a scientific outpost here, or indeed a pirate outpost here. Perfect location for a pirate base, even better location for a scientific outpost, isn't it? So hopefully at some point we get to see that, and it would be nice to see stop-off points for explorers as well. Yeah, and dude, I would like to have stayed there a bit longer, to be honest. I absolutely love sitting in ring systems, especially ones that are lit like that one. Some ring systems can be quite flat, quite dull, because they don't have the dust and they don't have the lighting, and then every so often you come across one that's like that, that's got it all. It's dense, it's got the dust, it's got the blue light or the orange light, and it looks great. Okay there, Pompous Spanner, thanks for stopping by. Have a good sleep. Yeah, totally agree with those sort of missions. Flying along and getting someone calling you in for a mission, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Especially if they're dynamic missions that call in multiple players at once. Well, it does depend on what the missions entail though, Stalker. But yeah, I think Elite is wide enough that you can do without missions. I've only played a handful of missions myself, and I've been playing Elite for a year now and done next to 0 missions. That said, I've also done next to 0 combat as well. So something for everyone in the game. That's right, the more freedom the better. But missions that could lead into freedom, that would be great. Missions that draw you out from civilized space into the unexplored galaxy and vice versa. All sorts of possibilities there. Let's have a look how far away we are from the Lagoon Nebula. So this is where we are. We're at Thor's Eye, which is this huge giant a blue sun, massive blue sun. We were just here at the Thor's Eye A1, which has a fantastic ring system, although it's not as blue in actuality as it is on the system map. More to the shame. We're heading off to this black hole though. I don't know how large it is. It looks like it might be a fairly small black hole as things go. Yeah, I agree. Dynamic missions like that will definitely add a lot, and it don't even have to be called in from NPCs, does it? You could also get artifacts that you discover out in space. I mean, I'm out here and in Thor's Eye. I don't know how many people actually visit here. I'm sure a fair amount of people visit here because it's a bit of a tourist attraction, but no reason there couldn't be something left here behind by an NPC or a player that could begin a mission. Likewise, go out into the middle of nowhere, find an unusual rare asteroid belt that's not found anywhere else in the galaxy. That too could perhaps start a mission. All sorts of possibilities. Let's see how far the Lagoon Nebula is, because that is my next destination. Here we go. Herschel 36 is just 270 light years away, so after the black hole I'll be heading there. That is around about 10 jumps, so I could probably do that in 10 to 15 minutes quite easily. So looking at the time, I'm pretty sure I can fit that in to tonight's stream. Once we get to this black hole, we're down to 500 light seconds. Yeah, Darth, an asp is nice to explore in, but don't feel compelled that the asp is the only option to explore in. You can do it in a Cobra, and you can do it in a hauler, and you can do it in a Type 6. Indeed, people do, and I've done so myself. Yeah, build up your money for the asp. Right, as you can see here, I'm getting quite close to the black hole here, and it's not actually visible because there's no graphical elements behind it. There's no nebulas, there's no galactic core behind it, but you can see it due to some distortions on the stars. I don't want to get too close. I've got my friend talking now. I don't know if he actually means to be talking to me there or whether he means to be talking to someone else. I did mention to him I'm streaming when he mentioned earlier. By all means, he's free to talk to me. I hope you guys don't mind, but yeah, I'm going to reply to him in a minute there. I don't want to crash into this black hole there. What's that? Mechanical come across any masses of a new player since the Steam launch? No, I haven't seen any new players, but that's because I'm miles away from the core systems, but there does seem to be quite a lot of people watching the various streams on Twitch at the moment, so I imagine there are quite a lot of players about. Yeah, keep a slot for the scanner, and yeah, refueling a hauler can be a bit of a nightmare. So we're at the black hole here. What I'm going to do is try and get around the back of the black hole, if I don't crash into it, and hopefully somewhere around here, there we go, I can see the galactic core, and we should be able to see some distortion effects from the black hole there. I don't mean to be ignorant to my friend there. I'll talk to him shortly. I haven't been to the Crab Nebula. No, I think that's out this way, isn't it? Or was that in the opposite direction? I've been to the Elephant's Trunk and the Bernard's Loop. I've been out to NGC 7822 and the Heart and Soul Nebulas as well, which are in completely the opposite direction to where I'm at now. You know, I'm a bit confused here because I can't see the galactic core, and it may be that the light from the galactic core is being blocked out by the blue light from the blue sun here. I know there's the galactic core, so a little bit more down this way, and I'm going to position my ship so that I can actually see the distortion effects coming on from the black hole here. You should see them any second now. And look how large the Lagoon Nebula actually looks there. There we go. Now I've got to be careful not to get too close to the black hole here, at least at these speeds. Apparently you don't get any overheating now from the black holes, but I don't want to crash into the black hole at any multiples of the speed of light. Yeah, certainly you might bump into us out here, and no reason to not explore in a Cobra by any means. Some nice looking effects there from the black hole. Just look at that. That can get a little disorientating, at least for me, and especially disorientating when you do this on the Oculus Rift and get all manner of confusing visuals going on. So, relatively small black hole, all things considered, but still nice to see, isn't it? Getting a little bit close there, I think. Right then, I think it's time to head towards the Lagoon Nebula. Like I say, it should be less than 10 jumps, and we're going to find ourselves right in the middle of that lovely nebula over there, which by all accounts is very vivid in its colours, so we should be in for a real treat when we get there. Herschel 36. Shouldn't take long. I estimate 10 minutes or so, 10 to 15 minutes, 9 jumps, like I said. Yeah, I'd like to see some more effects on the black holes too, especially in relation to gameplay, getting sucked in, or obviously they can't do time dilation because the game's multiplayer, but having some effects on your ship would be nice. Yeah, there's no problem at all with fuel scooping with a Cobra. You can put a nice fuel scoop on it and the ship is very slow to overheat. You won't have any problems with that at all. The Type 6 overheats quite fast. The Asp a lot less so, but the Cobra's fine. Oh yeah, don't worry about that. I went out to Bernard's Loop in a Cobra. If you've seen any of my videos, you will see I did all of that in a Cobra. No problem at all. You just got to be a little bit aware that some of the systems you might not be able to jump to, because in some cases you need over a 30 light year jump range, and it's not very easy to get that in a Cobra, if at all possible to get that in a Cobra. I don't quite know, but no reason you can't get out to most of the nebulas in a Cobra. It's a great ship. Well, don't necessarily have to making a new system. If the black hole exploded, I nearly got pulled into a black hole on my previous trip by a few stupid manoeuvres. Ah, brilliant, Merton. I didn't know that, totally unaware of that fact, so that's going to be nice to see as well then. Great big star coming up and a nebula just a few jumps away. Can't wait to see that. That's what exploring's all about, isn't it? You know, there's some interesting points, isn't there, with black holes and stuff. That's been mentioned before. Maybe it's you that mentioned it before to me, or to someone anonymous, or maybe I've seen it said elsewhere, but that's the distances over the distance of light travelling over the distance of the galaxy. You get a supernova right here where I am, for example, and you travel 100 light years away from this area, or even one jump 30 light years, and you look back, you're not going to see that supernova, are you? Because it's going to take 30 years for that light to reach you. And then you're going to jump back towards it again, and you're going to find yourself caught up in a supernova. I don't think Elite quite manages the game in that manner, but I'd love to see it. If it did, all sorts of interesting things would go on, wouldn't they? Yeah, the hauler you can do the trip in, but it's quite easy to and get yourself blasted to smithereens in. What, too easy to have a close call with the sun, especially when you're fuel scooping. We're in some 2 mass stars here. Those are always quite interesting to see as well, or usually. This one only has 1 object, as I happen to mention it.
Fuel scooping complete. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, I guess I realised that a supernova would be a super massive explosion that wouldn't take much time at all to destroy life nearby, but I'm sure you get my point as well, that if you travel 100 light years or 1,000 light years away from a black hole, or a supernova I mean, it would look a little bit different to what it would look like when you're right on top of it. Obviously we know that, I'm not teaching you to suck eggs, we know that in the real world, but I'm talking about actually inside Elite itself. I'd quite like them to implement those sort of features. Hey Ant Dude, if you don't mind, could you do me a favour and put a link to my channel in the chat there? I actually forgot to put it in my Twitch description, so most people coming in here who haven't seen my YouTube stuff will be completely unaware of it, and I haven't actually put the link there for them to see. Really appreciate it if you don't mind doing that, that'd be great.
Fuel scooping complete. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
How many jumps left? 5 jumps to go to the nebula and the giant star. Getting there. So I've actually covered a significant distance tonight. Now look, it tells me 31 objects discovered just as I go into hyperspace. Nothing I can do about that now, unless I turn around and head back, but I don't know the name of the system I come from. I've been relying on autopilot. Not that I want to go back, but it'd be difficult if I did.
Fuel scooping.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you doing that.
Fuel scooping complete.
Well, the reason I'm not doing a detailed scan on the primary system is because it takes about 30 seconds or so to do a detailed surface scan each time, and you may say to me, well, 30 seconds ain't much, and I totally agree with you, 30 seconds isn't much, but when you're doing 100 jumps, that's 100 times 30 seconds, which is actually 3,000 seconds, and I don't really want to add that amount of time to my journey, so generally I don't do detailed surface scans unless I really am interested in the region of space I'm in. I did do that in NGC 7822 Nebula because there were some fantastic systems there, so I did a surface detailed scan of every single one of them there. But yeah, generally speaking, they had a little bit too much time for my tastes to my journey, so I only do detailed surface scans of the areas I really want to do. I'm not out here for the money anyway, I'm out here for the sightseeing. But that said, on my last trip I made 6 million credits on by playing in the way I'm playing, so that's more than enough for me and keeps me happy. But I will have a look here. Oh look, Doctor Who has been here, first discovered by Doctor Who. But there's no planets, maybe the Daleks ate them or something.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, I agree with that, Merton. There's a lot of space stuff that would be very difficult to implement into Elite. I wonder as well whether new planetary formations are possible, or new star formations. Are they going on out there in the galaxy right now? I don't really know enough about astrophysics to know that. I'd assume that there are planets out there and stars out there that are still in the formative process. If so, would it be possible to have them in Elite? Systems at the end of their life and systems at the beginning of their life. That would be interesting to see, because obviously they'd all look a little bit different. Thanks for putting that there, Ant Dude. I should have thought to put it into my Twitch description before I started the stream, but didn't think of doing that. So appreciate you doing that. So for everyone else who don't know, that there's my YouTube channel. I've been doing some exploration videos on Elite for quite a long time now, about 6 months or so. I've got videos going back a little bit longer than that, but those are the bulk of them. If you look at the channel now, you'll probably see a whole bunch of other games there, such as Milky and Star Crawlers, for example, but those are the games I'm actually been playing recently. But if you really want the bulk of my gaming, that's on Elite, and there's quite a few videos there if you're interested.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah, I've seen some new stars, but am I wrong in thinking that new stars, especially ones that are that young, proto-stars, yeah, would look a little bit different to regular stars? Or do they basically, to all intents and purposes, look the same? That's right, Mara Jaden. I'm heading to the core by way of the Lagoon Nebula, which is just a couple of jumps away. We're going to find it's actually the next jump. I'm going to be right in the middle of the Lagoon Nebula. So before I make that jump, what I'm going to do is fly away from the star, because that star is actually, the light that's coming from the star that I'm near is actually blocking out all the colours from the nebula that's in front of me. And as I get further away from that sun behind me, you'd actually see the nebula ahead of me resolve into some colours. It should look rather colourful. You can just see it starting to appear now. Oh, I see. So they're a slightly different colour. Okay, thanks, Mara. I'll call you that. Yep, as you can see, the nebula is starting to resolve itself there in front of us. Some striking green colours in there. Now, I have visited a nebula of that colour before, and it was a little bit disappointing because when I got inside the nebula didn't have any vivid colours at all. It was actually rather dull. But I'm assured that the case is different here with the Lagoon Nebula. Look how vivid those greens are. Well, Mara, I don't plan on returning back to a station for at least a month, and I'm hoping to extend the journey to about 2 months. So yeah, I will be returning the data in, but it won't be for a long time yet. My last trip was 4 to 5 weeks out. This one I want to be longer. The only reason I went back last time was because my ship needed repairing. So if I'm a little bit more careful this time, hopefully I'll be able to stay out here a little bit longer. So here we go. This jump should get us into the outer edges of the nebula, and then we'll be going to Herschel 6, which is one very, very large star, so I'm told. And of course, the one thing that always hits you when you first jump into a nebula is that it's black. Where are all the colours? And of course you can't see all the colours because you're too close to the star. But as I get away from this star, the background here is going to start looking a lot better. Yeah, I know, there's people saw the supermassive black hole in the very early days after Gamma was released. It didn't take very long for people to get there at all, but it still remains an attraction for people to keep going to see. The funny thing was that back in Gamma, when the first people started to go see this supermassive black hole, it was actually surrounded by dozens of NPCs. But nowadays you don't see any NPCs at all this far out into space, so the nebula's quite a lot bigger than it was before. I still didn't talk to my mate there, did I? Let's get a little bit closer. Right, Herschel 36 then, that's our destination. That is more or less the centre of this nebula. Well, surprisingly, Frontier have been quite accurate with a lot of the details and planets in some of the systems that we know stuff about. So, hopefully, and yes, it is. It's blue in colour. You can pretty much trust in Frontier for this sort of thing. I've come to realise. I love the blue-coloured stars. And
Fuel scooping.
in fact, there was one system on my previous excursion, I think it was probably in Nebula NGC 7822, where there was a planet that was very, very close to the blue star. It was actually just a couple of light seconds away from it, and the planet was totally swamped in blue colour.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah, it's an awesome view, isn't it? Just look at it. I see there's another blue star just slightly out to the distance there. So I'm actually 36 light seconds away from this sun here, which gives you an idea of just how huge it is. Bear in mind that in some cases there are stations orbiting their suns much closer than 36 or 33 light seconds. So that is a huge star. Let's see what the nebula looks like, and there is another blue star there, look. How far away is that one? Getting a little bit too close there. Gotta watch the heat. Now, the thing is, that star there is 6,000 light seconds away. Look how big it looks. That too, I'm sure, is a very big sun, and it may indeed be larger than the one we're near. I believe that the point of entry into a system is the sun that has the highest mass, not necessarily the sun that is the largest. So that sun over there could be larger. Do we have a value of 36 diameter on the star? Are you asking, Hieronymus? Let's have a look. I assume you're asking about the details of the sun itself. I don't think I did a detailed scan, did I? Solar radius. Is that what you want to know? We've got some details there. Yeah, just you can see the details there. I'll leave that up for a second longer, and I'll head back to the game and do a detailed surface scan on it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Mara, that I'll be able to do a detailed surface scan on that star that's that far away. Let's give it a test, shall we? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, with all this far away, we can scan it quite easily. Fair enough, Hieronymus. And there we go, blue-white star, and another one here. And then, of course, I'm going to fly away from both these stars, and we're going to look at the graphics of this nebula I'm in. It's rather lovely green-looking nebula. Hopefully it looks nice, and hopefully it's worth the trip out here. So both of them are scanned. If I'm right, there wasn't anything else in this system. Nope, that's it. Let's see what the nebula looks like. Just look at the blue light on my cockpit here and the canopy. Some stunning stuff. And there you can see the first hints of the nebula starting to resolve itself into view. Always the thing that strikes you the most when you get into a system and you think, you know, a nebula. When you first get into a nebula, perhaps the first time you're in a nebula, and you wonder, why is there no colours here? There should be some colours here, although there may not be in this particular case, because these suns are ginormous and they're pretty damn bright. But I'll try and get far away from them as I can. Yeah, look how big that is. We're now 600 light seconds away from it. Yeah, no problem. I'll show you where I am there. I'm in the Lagoon Nebula. I'm actually heading towards the centre of the galaxy. I did have a break. From exploration, a couple of weeks break. But Yeah, I'm still going, and if you mean on this stream, yeah, I'm still going on that as well. So Lagoon Nebula is right there. Excuse me, and I'm getting a little bit hoarse now from all the talking, but I'll show you where that is in relation to Sol. Sol is right there, at a distance of just 4,500 light years. And let's come back out again there. So I've pretty much travelled the majority of that today. Still quite a long way to go to the core though. But NGC 6357 is my next destination, and the reason for that is because it's another lovely looking nebula with a hell of a lot of stars inside of it. You want to avoid the nebulas that don't have stars inside them, because you get there and you can't get inside the nebulas, which is no fun. So yeah, look, I'm getting quite a distance away from these suns now, and although we're starting to see some colours of the nebula, for the most part it's fairly dull and indistinct, and most of that is because sorry, getting a little bit distracted there reading the comments. I'll respond to some of them in a minute. Most of that is because of the brightness of the sun we're near, so I'm going to need to move away from that star and see if we can get to a slightly better vantage point here. Oh, Mara, I don't know about that. Have a look at some of my screenshots from Barnard's Loop and NGC 7822. You can see some of the videos on YouTube I've got with me and the Pleiades Nebula and around the Orion's Nebula, and the screenshots inside of them are absolutely stunning. It depends very much on what nebula you're inside of, and it also depends on whereabouts you're positioned inside the nebula. You have to really position yourself in an area where there's a bright coloration, and there don't seem to be a whole lot of that here. Let's try this star. Inside NGC 7822 you see nothing but the nebula. You actually can't see outside of it. It's so vivid. It actually occludes completely the rest of the galaxy, including the galactic core. And Barnard's Loop is brilliant too. Okay, Merton, that sounds like another destination that's worth going to. So as I get here, we're still inside the Lagoon Nebula. I'm going to get a little bit of fuel, although I don't need much. That was a relatively small jump. Now this sun is a lot smaller, it's less bright, so hopefully as we travel away from it we should see yeah, you can post links, Mara, that's fine, as long as it's to nothing unsuitable, of course. And yeah, look, see the difference here. I'm still inside the nebula. The other sun was just too bright, and so it occluded the vividness of the nebula. If you go into a nebula and you can't see that nebula, that's simply because you're near a star that's too bright. You need to get to an area, to a system that's got a small star that's actually less bright, and you will see sights like this. And you can see I'm on the edge of the nebula, but I'm quite a way into the nebula. Look, the edge of the nebula is 20 light years that way, the other edge is 30-40 light years that way, so you can see I'm not quite slap bang in the nebula, but I'm still actually inside of the nebula. It's all about finding the right system, and I've spent a lot of time doing that in all of the nebulas. You spend a lot of time trying to find the best vantage point from inside the nebula to see what it looks like. Yeah, that's right, Mara. Get as far away from the sun as you can. Weren't quite so possible at Herschel 36 due to the sheer brilliance of the two suns that were there. But here it certainly is possible. Now I'm going to head to that star right in front of me if it's possible. So I'm just going to simply lock destination there. I don't want to go that one. It's off to the side. Where's that one? Nope. Let's see if we can get a star that's right ahead. Nope. You can do this. It's by the galactic map, but it's a little bit difficult to work out your current orientation on the galactic map. Let's see. Maybe I can do it. Yeah, star clusters are great. Star lance. I've found some brilliant ones, and there's some absolute fantastic things to see in them. Right, I'm going to go here. It's actually a little bit closer to where Herschel 36 was, but there's some green there. But you can also see it's very dark, so we may see something there, we may not. We won't know till we get there. But what you really want to see are these nebulas when you've got a layer of galactic dust in them as well, which you can see in Barnard's Loop. You'll have this nebula here and then a massive flat layer of galactic dust, and that really is an awe-inspiring view. Actually, Majogul, I don't want to overly correct you there, but the correct plural of nebula is nebulae, as you pointed out, but it's also correct to use nebula as well. There's actually two usages for that word. Well, this sun looks a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter, so that's alright, not to worry. I was caught out on that as well. It's something I had to check out because obviously it kept using the plural of nebula. I wanted to make sure I was saying it the correct way, but apparently you can say it both ways, so all is good, no problems. And yeah, look, the nebula is starting to resolve itself again there, and quite bright it is too. Now this here, this part of the system here, as opposed to the previous system I was in, actually looks a little bit more foggy. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a bit more all-encompassing here, whereas before it was sort of just in front of me and not necessarily all around me. Here it's all around me. Now what I'm going to try to do, my exploration rank is, I forget, Pathfinder. I've actually got them decals on the outside of my ship here. Let's see if I can show you that. Got my Kickstarter decals, the Lego Planet logo there, and I don't know if you can make it out because there's not a lot of light here. There we go. The Pathfinder exploration logo on the front of my ship there. Yeah, I love icy belts. They're one of the best things in the game. And somehow I did this before. I've dropped out of warp. I did this before, but I can't recenter my camera now. This happened a while ago. Don't know if it's a glitch or what I've done or how I get back to centering the view. See, escape. I'm going to give you all dizzy headache now. I'm going to have to escape back to the main menu and come back in, unfortunately. Sorry about that. It seems to happen after using the debug camera for some reason. The command for the debug camera is I had to actually bind it. I just bound it to C. I went into the controls and bound that myself. Try pressing the scroll wheel. Yeah, I should have tried that, Stalker. I didn't think of it. I'll have a look at that link in a little while, module. Thank you. Also, talking about YouTube videos and YouTube channels, for those of you that may have just missed out, I have a YouTube channel myself. If you go to, we'll try and place a link here, I forgot to do it, but if you go to YouTube and look for Elite Dangerous Obsidian Ant, you will find my channel there. I've got a whole bunch of videos on exploration where I've been all over the galaxy and seen some pretty nice things. But yeah, as I was saying before I started spazzing out with the camera, you can, and there's some galactic dust there, you can actually see the nebulas fully surrounding me here. Love it. Shall we see if there's some ring systems here? Nothing better than an ice ring inside a nebula. Oh, nice to hear, Merton. Nothing here to see, so I'm going to see if we can find some planets. Yeah, today's the first time I've done a Twitch stream. In fact, I'm probably getting a little bit close to coming toward the end of this stream for tonight. But we'll do a few more systems here. Look at the layer of galactic dust there. It's things like that that make this all worthwhile. Let's go to another one. I don't really want to go up or down because that's obviously going to give me a slight different perspective of the nebula that I don't really want to see. I'm going to try and keep as close to the visuals as I've got here. That one maybe. I'm going to see if we can find a gas giant or indeed any planet that's got a ring system around it. Oh, thanks again, Ant Dude. Thanks for dropping the link there. I'll make sure that from the next stream onwards I'll put that in my Twitch description. Yeah, that's kind of what I was worried about on my last trip, Merton. I wasn't too worried about the money itself, but I was a little bit concerned that if I didn't get back and lost all the data, that would mean I would have lost all my ability to generate the money, which means even though I explored thousands of planets, my rank wouldn't have gone up, and that would have been a little bit of a shame. Yeah, I agree, it shouldn't really be based on the money, it should be based on what you've found. Similar with the combat in a way, the rank shouldn't be on the bounties you've retrieved, but it should be on the number of ships and size of the ships you've destroyed. But who knows, maybe Frontier have got some reasons for doing it the way they've done it. Yeah, thanks, Mechanical. I might do that. Like I say, this is my first day of doing a Twitch stream, so I come in a little bit unprepared, to be honest, but oh, excuse me, sorry about that. Getting a little bit hoarse now. Not used to this amount of talking, but I'll be sure to set up the Twitch channel accordingly for future, I think. Yeah, of course, it makes perfect sense for it to be that way through trading, doesn't it? No ring systems here. You know, it come out this way, all those planets, all those systems I bypassed on the 4,000 odd light years to the Lagoon Nebula, almost every other system had a planet with a ring in it, didn't it? And now I want a planet with a ring in it. We don't find one. Let's see if this has got one. Ring systems with nebulas. Spectacular. They make all these trips worthwhile, all these hours of travelling very much worth it. I can't wait to see stations out in these sort of areas. Can you imagine stations in these areas of space? Yeah, thanks, Mara. I was quite pleased to see see that amount of views come up. And thanks to everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I kind of put off Twitch streaming. One of the reasons was I wasn't convinced I'd be able to talk for this length, and I also wasn't convinced whether people would be that interested in watching, but obviously you are, so thank you very much.
Disengaged.
Oh yeah, Mogul, you've got a very, very valid point there. You could come out here and just scan a load of ice planets or a load of rock planets and rack your numbers up very, very fast there. That wouldn't necessarily mean you've got valuable or useful planets, would it? Hello again, Chaos Wolf. Nice to see you back again. I'm actually out in the Lagoon Nebula now, trying to find a ring system, a planet with a ring system here, so we can admire the nebula from the ring. But this particular system, the nebula looks a little bit diminished. The system I was in previously, the nebula was much brighter, but a little bit dull here. But nonetheless, maybe there is a ring system here. Oh, thank you. Of course there's not. Well, let's try again. There's got to be a ring system around here somewhere. Lots of small jumps. I've already been to that one because we got a map for it. I'll end up mapping the entire blooming nebula before we get there. That one's down a little bit too low. I've got been to that one. Let's try this one. Unfortunately, this one's in a little bit of dark area of the nebula. I'm not going to go there. Is that the one I was just looking at? That looks like a candidate, although a little bit to the outer edge of the nebula for the minute, but let's go there rather than just keep browsing. Yeah, maybe I'll bump into you, Chaos Wolf, if you're still in the nebula. Yeah, I've wondered about that with the Pillars of Eternity videos. It's a great game. It really is a great game, but you're pretty much giving the story away as you're playing it, so I completely understand why not as many people are watching that. Oh, okay. I didn't realise that. So if I look for those particular stars, I should have more chances of finding gas giants.
Fuel scoop.
Of course, this one. No, didn't mean to drop out there. Of course, I've just jumped into a system with a huge sun, which is probably gonna block out us from seeing the nebula. But we'll find out in a minute. Ah, that's a nice saying, Myra. I'll try and remember that one. Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking, Stalker. Doing a stream on exploration when all you're doing is a lot of jumping. How would that go down? But it seems to be going down all right. You've just got to find some interesting points in between times, and obviously we're right in a nebula. There's some nice things to see, especially if I can find a few points of interest. The jump range of my ASP star lance is 31.7 light years, so not bad. You can get a little bit higher, but that was the highest I was able to go, or willing to go, with the amount I wanted to spend on the ship. Yes, Stalker, a lot of talking. I feel myself going hoarse. Hopefully it's been interesting enough for you all. Not just the stars when you must. Alright, I didn't realise that. Thanks again, Mojo Ghoul. Bad News Baron. I saw him on Twitch today. He was on here today, wasn't he? I saw him with 500 views. I assume... I don't know too much about Twitch streamers in general, so I assumed he might regularly get that sort of numbers. Is that a case, or was it simply because of where he was at? So again, it's kind of irrelevant whether this system here has a ring system or not, because we can't see the colours of the nebula because the stars are a little bit too bright. And again, we're getting out the way there, actually going outside the nebula. I'd love to be right in this green section here. That looks like a good spot, although when you get there it looks darker. About that one. Let's try that. Is it too far for me to jump? I think I can make that. I didn't check the jump distance. Oh, easy. 17 light years. Oh yeah, sense of wonder. That's what it's all about. I was saying earlier that would just keep me going forever. Really, it would. Oh, I see. So it was his. Yeah, well, that's understandable. He does a good job. So certainly nice to be in an area like that, and getting 500 viewers for Elite as well. That's a pretty good thing. The game's doing well.
Fuel scooping.
I see. I see, Merton. Thanks for that.
Complete. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Right. Let's see how well we can see the nebula here. And again, nothing. So this is a class M star. Okay, Chaos Wolf, I actually want a system that's got probably a gas giant, but a planet that's got a ring system around it, because I want to see the nebula from the point of view of being inside a ring system. Yeah, I did actually think of doing that in the early days. Mechanical Fluff, doing some sort of scripted story, but sort of backed away from the idea. Maybe something in the future. My opinion of the stream cells. Is that stream cells or steam cells, did you mean? Steam. Steam cells. Now, do you mean what's my opinion of Frontier selling Elite on Steam, or what's my opinion of Steam doing their like 80% discounts? Several rings. Thank you. So where are we? And can you see the nebula very vividly from there? GW WD1143. Have I typed that wrong? Don't want to find that. You're going to tell me what I'm doing in a minute. Wrong in a minute, hopefully. Chaos Wolf. GW-W D1-143. Yeah, I'd love to see Frontier's stats on that. I reckon quite a lot of people have been there. Yeah, I agree, Mara. The more the better. Totally. Yeah, people reviewing the game on Steam a little bit too early after just playing for a few hours. Not really the way to review the game. Are you missing a sector? I don't know, I'm just putting in the number that Chaos Wolf gave me. Oh, that could be it. Don't know. It's obviously doing something wrong here. Not sure what it is. Lagoon sector GWW That obviously works. And then we want the number D1. I'm putting in S1, D1. Okay, so that works. We want 143. Ah, there we go. Suspect I was typing something wrong. Right, Chaos Wolf, I'm on my way. Very vivid nebula here, and we can go and see some asteroid rings.
Frameshift drive.
Just before I do that though, could you all bear with me a minute? I need to have a very quick break. Won't be long. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So here we are in the Lagoon Nebula, and what an awesome sight it is, eh? So Chaos Wolf tells me that if I jump to this system here, I should hopefully be able to find a bunch of gas giants with some ring systems around them. And from my past experience, I can tell you that ring systems inside nebulas, especially if you're lucky enough to find ice asteroids, make for some of the best visuals in the game. Really, really gorgeous. So we may be in for a treat. Let's see how it goes.
Fuel scooping.
Don't know if you're still in this system, Chaos Wolf, are you?
Fuel scooping.
50 new objects, yeah, no wonder there's likely to be something decent here. So space looks black, and again, as I mentioned earlier, you're all probably aware of that by now. It's because of the light from the sun that we're near actually blocks out the colours of the nebula. But as we get away from the sun, if I stop twisting and turning there, you actually see the colours of the nebula starting to fade in here. Ah, got someone on local there. Hello, Stalker. Hello. You can probably see me on Twitch as well then, and now in Elite. So let's see where these ring systems are. Look at that green. Don't see too much green. So I don't know if I'm still a little bit too close to the sun here, but whilst the colours are quite vivid here. Oh, hello, Chaos Wolf. Nice to see you there. Hey. I guessed as much, Stalker. There's a slight lag. Yeah, I'm not sure how the instancing works on the computers here. It's quite possible that one of us here is hosting this particular instance or part of it. So anyway, let's see if we can find the ring system here. A little bit of a shame, although as you said, Chaos Wolf, the area's fairly vivid. It's not quite as vivid as some of the parts I've been to so far, but not to worry, it should be good enough. Where's these rings? Engelbert has discovered that one. It's going to be a little bit difficult to locate that one. Let's fly upwards and we'll have a look. Yeah, it's always great to see another commander out here. This is one of the first times I've, well, it actually is the first time I've ever met someone out in deep space. We're about 4,500 light years out, so yeah, 3 exploring asps here that we know of, and I see you guys on the map there. You're getting fairly close, aren't you? Is that planet you're near got a ring system around it? That's what I want to know, because I certainly don't know which one of these is going to have that. Let's see if that one has. No, that's a sun. Yep, I guess they are down there. Shall I go ahead and see them then? Let's go down there and see them rather than me run away. I'm running upwards because I want to see the ring systems if I can find it, but I'm going to go down to Commander Stalker here and see where he's going. He's not going quite toward me. I don't know where Chaos Wolf is though now. He seems to have disappeared off the radar a little bit. Where are you, Chaos Wolf? Did I ever get my own name on a discovery? Do you mean discovered by Mechanical Fluff? If you mean discovered by, yeah. I've got my name on a fair few planets as first discoverer. The Pleiades cluster. That was the first nebula I ever went to, the Spunk. Soon as it was actually the place I wanted to get to, and as soon as they opened up the whole galaxy, because in beta we were limited to a certain set region of space, as soon as they opened up the whole galaxy, the Pleiades was the place I went straight to. Hey, welcome back. I'm going to go back to that link a little bit later, Majogul. It's a little bit difficult to watch the videos whilst I'm streaming. I'll probably be a bit better at doing that in future, but this is my first stream, so I don't want to start clicking things, because knowing me, I'll mess something up. But thanks for the link, I've got it there, and I'll make sure to go and see it. So where are these gas giants? Chaos Wolf? There's a lot of suns I'm seeing here, but I'm not seeing any rings. I know they're here. I trust your judgment. Maybe that's one. I'm just not so good at locating them when they're not directly orbiting the star. Okay. But which one are you on the map? Which one are you on my radar, Chaos Wolf? Are you this one? That's Stalker again. So Chaos Wolf is the one I want to be following. I'm following you. Yeah, I'm following you, Chaos Wolf. Where are you? Thanks. Following now. A wind request. Okay. Crab. First place I went to in game was the Crab Nebula, yeah? I don't remember if I've been there. Yeah, go to the Orion Nebula, definitely the Spunk. You reckon they're luring me out to a trap, do you, sharks? Yeah, I'm gonna follow, I know what's gonna happen. Chaos Wolf is gonna drop off into the ring system. I'm going to follow him in there, and then he's going to lay him waiting for me, and the Stalker is going to jump in behind me, and they'll both ambush me together. You wouldn't do that, would you? Be a laugh, I've got no weapons. Yeah, Crab Nebula, a long way away. Opposite direction then to where I'm in now. Oh, this is great. The nebula's actually starting to get a little bit more vivid out here and reveal its colours. Thanks, Chaos Wolf. This is exactly what I want to see. Still not quite as vivid as where we were though, is it, guys? I don't think. Okay. Let's have a quick look there. Actually don't see you now. I guess that's because you've dropped to a local space. Horsehead Nebula, yeah, and dude, that's stunning as well. I mean, they're all in there together, aren't they? Bernard's Loop, Horsehead Nebula, Orion Nebula, Flame Nebula, and of course all of the oh well, we can all ram each other then, Wolfie. I've got no weapons either, so yeah, all those nebulas are in there together, and of course you've got the layer of galactic dust there as well, so brilliant stuff. Well, I don't know about that, Majogul. David Braben himself has said a number of times that he adamantly doesn't want fast travel in Elite, long distance jumps or anything like that. He really doesn't want it, so I don't know. I kind of agree with your point in a lot of ways. It would make things a lot easier. but whether it actually happens, I don't know. Now, Chaos Wolf, you actually got out here a lot faster than me. I'm going a lot slower than you did. Every time I've travelled towards a ring system at a high speed, I've ended up wrecking my ship. So I don't know where you are actually out here now. I'm not seeing any contacts, and of course I'm not seeing the friend request now because you've dropped into local space. So I don't know where you are in this ring system. I'm just going to drop out right here, and yeah, the nebula is vivid enough that this should make for some nice visuals. That combined with the fact that looks like it's a nice one. I'm going to need to slow down a bit though, otherwise I'm going to smash up. Don't want to crack canopy this early into my exploration chip. And yeah, look, lovely white asteroid field with a stunning nebula. And look at that, I've even got a planet on the horizon over there in the distance. Thanks for this, Chaos Wolf. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Slightly more vivid nebula would have been nice, but this is great stuff. Let's spiral downwards a little bit. There we go. Look at the colours there. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of that nebula in our view. Where's the best point for that nebula? Looks about there, doesn't it? Yeah, I know what you mean, Joggle. That's just something Frontier are going to have to deal with at some point, because they're surely going to have to settle systems that are a long way out. They can't keep settling systems that are right neighbouring onto current civilised space. All this space will be wasted if we don't have it. And if the Thargoids come, or indeed any other alien races, then there's going to be inhabited space a long way from civilised space, and people aren't going to want to spend days getting between one place and the next. No, it's not a nice ice nebula after all. Ice ring after all. It's just white. But you'll see what I mean then about the colours of the nebulas in conjunction with the ring systems. Lovely looking stuff, especially when you can find one that's got slightly more vivid looking nebula here, although as Chaos Wolf points out, it is pretty vivid here. Sort of place you can fly around for a long time, and indeed even take a lot of screenshots inside of. Let's fly it down again and out the bottom end of the... Oh, that's alright, Chaos Wolf. It can be a right nightmare trying to get into the same places with each other. I've tried it a few times, even with wings, and it does work very well now, but it still can be a little bit of a nuisance. Ah, right, so I guess I was on the wrong side of the asteroid belt. Chaos Wolf, apologies for that. This side, look at that. You told me it was vivid, and the colours are indeed spectacularly vivid. Look at that. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's screenshot work there, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't yet seen a nebula with quite so much green in it in all my trips, so this has made it very worthwhile. Thank you, Chaos Wolf, again. Brilliant seeing this one. That's a good job, Chaos. Green. And the green, yeah, it looks brilliant, doesn't it? And I think you can just make out elements of galactic dust there, the darker patches there. They're either wispy parts of gaps through the nebula to the dark space behind it, or they're possibly elements of galactic dust. I'm leaning toward the later. I think that's what they are. there's a lot of red nebulas in Elite, a lot of blue nebulas in Elite. You don't often get to see green. Green. You don't often get to see green. Can't remember what element glows green when you burn it. No, me neither, Merton. So yeah, some nice things here. Now, just imagine an asteroid base in a location like this, or an outpost in a location like this, or indeed even a station, I suppose, just orbiting slightly above the rings. But I don't see why you couldn't have a huge asteroid here, like in the concept art, with a station inside of it. Would be pretty good, wouldn't it? Right then, all of you, it's getting a little bit on the late side here. Everyone else in the house has been in bed for quite a long time, and it's probably time that I get to bed too, so I'm going to cut it off here in a minute. I really do appreciate you're watching here. This has been my first stream, and it's been great to have such a nice reception from everyone. To get this amount of viewers, it's not at all what I expected, so I thank you all very, very much. Just before I do go, I want to let you know that this whole stream I'm going to edit together into a video and put it onto YouTube with a new commentary, and it will probably form either episode 22 or episode 23 of my Elite Exploration series. So feel free to check out that channel. I'm going to link to it for you quickly now, in case you're so inclined to come along and have a look. Let's just get that link for you all. There we go. I should be able to paste that there into chat, and that there is my YouTube channel. So for those of you that haven't seen me and would like to have a look at some of my other videos, do have a look on that. And I've got a few other videos, play series going on at the moment. I'm playing Pillars of Eternity, Homeworld and Star Crawlers, but I don't know how much interest there is in those particular games. Watch them if you really do want to watch, but by all means, I'd love for you to check out the Elite videos. Yeah, thanks Merton. Really appreciate you guys checking that stuff out. So yeah, I'll be back with another stream, possibly not tomorrow, but hopefully Sunday, certainly over the Easter period anyway. And I hope the trip here is worthwhile. I got to see some rather stunning sights. Very worthwhile coming here. Let's stop off. I'm going to leave my ship in this area here, and I'm going to record a bit more footage later on. Yeah, Starlance Homeworld was a pretty spectacular game. What's my in-game commander name? It's Obsidian. Nope, it's Granite. I was going to say it's Obsidian Ant, but that's my YouTube name, and that's my other character, my other game account for Elite. But it's Commander Granite. If you want to send me a friend request or whatever. Yep, thank you, Anthony Wilkins. I'm also looking forward to doing the next one. Hopefully it will be as interesting for you all as this one was interesting for me to actually do. So yeah, I'm going to fly around here a little bit later, and Granite, no, not quite. Granite, yep, Commander Rock type, that's exactly Merton. Commander Granite, Commander Obsidian, or Commander anything like that. Like that, Grander, like that. Mara, Granite. Night Firestar. Thanks for watching. Got some new friend requests there. Let's accept them before I disappear. Friend request from... Oh, I've got loads of friend requests here. Probably should acknowledge some of them, but I want to fly backwards and crash into the rocks. I don't know who half these people are. I'll have to check that out. So Chaos Wolf, I know who you are. What was the other one I just got? Manfriest. Yep, well, a friend request. You as well. Thank you. Let me know if any of the other people on my list here are actually people who have been watching the stream, and I'll accept your friend request as well. You're welcome, Starlance. It's been a pleasure to do. Different accents. And Dude, thank you. Glad you liked it. Different accents. Yes, my English accent. Right then. That's it. Thanks again, guys. I'm off. And I'll catch you again next time, which hopefully won't be too long.